Hi, friends. How's this one for an interesting effect? I may have used it once or twice before. Um, I'm coming to you from an interesting space. So I'll ask you to center in heart for this. Um, you might find it pretty intense. So be in heart. Um, we know, those of us that are awakening, we're stepping up out of the matrix. And one of the things that you surely find is that you've been lied to. Um, the society, the school system, education entirely, science, oh my God, government. Um, there are liars and lies everywhere. Most of it unwitting. I mean, your parents didn't lie to you on purpose, nor did your teachers. Uh, but the lies are built in, and we've been complicit with them in our mind numbed robot state, our sleep or hypnotism, whatever you want to call, where we've been consciously for quite a while now. We have thought that we were awake and aware, reasonably alert, and the rest of it. And you meet shock after shock as you come up into higher frequencies and find out what it's like to be alert and aware and at least more awake. And so it's hard, you know. You go through times, I've been through many bouts of tears and pain as I adjust or adapt to yet another uncovered layer of lies of one kind or another. I mean, just take the history books and burn them all. They have nothing true to say. History is written by the victors, we know that. We just don't know to what extent they're willing to perjure themselves in order to mislead us. So, um, part of waking up is confronting the darkness, at least being willing to see it. Dimitri Halley is a really good one to listen to for his teaching on the observation problem. We find that whatever we're observing, we must own it. That's us. And that includes the darkness. And that's one of the hardest things. It really is. We would all like everything to be sunshine and flowers and rainbows and lollipops. And I won't even say unfortunately, I'll just say that's in 3D, but that's only one side of the coin. And there's something to be said for being a realist. Uh, you don't keep your freedom. Who is it? Jefferson? Somebody said that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. And we've been asleep at the wheel. That's just the way it has been. And the whole scenario is rather complex. There are so many things that enter into it. But the reality is that we've only thought that we were awake, and we've only thought that we are free. We are not. Of course, the other side of awakening is the joy and the tripping and the bliss and the fun of it. I'm very aware of that too. You know that. I speak of it often. I do what I can to take everybody with me on those rides. But I'm on a kind of an important ride for myself right now. I don't know how many of you will have heard of Lorraine Moret. Is a scientist who speaks in a most educated, balanced way about Fukushima and about nuclear radiation in general. She's done her homework. She worked in the industry for 7 years, and she's wonderful to listen to. She's got her feet firmly on the ground, and it's perhaps the most difficult subject of today, because you must know we're not being presented with the truth. Anyone who expects truth out of any government, they're not awake, that's all. Not fully alert. Governments in today's world have set themselves up in ways where they cannot deliver the truth. And so they don't. Okay, so it's a really dark subject because of the consequences to us of this radiation. She has some very good facts that she has marshaled. Someone spoke up during questions during one of her presentations where she was attributing a rather meteoric rise in diabetes to nuclear radiation. And someone in the audience spoke up and said, what about chemtrails? What about chemicals in the food? What about all these other things that cannot be just that? And I need to go back and listen again to get the exact number. I will give you the link with this video to her lecture there. But I think she said nuclear radiation is between 10 and 10,000 times more powerful than any other thing that would influence than chemicals. It's just tremendously, tremendously powerful. And it makes all the other things like, a gnat on your shoulder, next to the influence of the ionizing radiation, all the rest of it is inconsequential. I think that would be safe to say. Now, don't trust me. And she has the facts. Now, should you watch that video? Maybe not. Maybe so and maybe not. I will put the link in. But perhaps the most important thing I have to say is not to be in fear. And so if you feel like listening to these kind of facts is going to stir up fear in you, it would probably be better not to watch. And instead, maybe to spend some time watching that fear and seeing what's under it. So, I want to provide the reminder here. You are not the body. You're just not. You're not the mind. The body-mind being that's present here in 3D is something that we are projecting from our higher self to have an experience here. We've chosen to do that for whatever our reasons. We promptly forget when we incarnate, when we're born. And that's just, that's a part of the play, the way it's written. And it works out best that way. Come on, if we were to come in here with our full powers and abilities as a light being, as a spirit of light, it wouldn't be a challenge. It just wouldn't be tempting to us the way it is to do it as we are doing it. So I have to remind myself, and so I remind you as well, when you're hearing news that tempts you to fear, two things. Number one thing, recognize that the body itself has fear. It's biological, and the mind is the source of fear, not the heart. Just not. And you are so much more to be found in heart than you are in the body-mind. And so it's safe to disidentify from the fear, to step back, and just let the fear be the reminder, oh, I need to center in heart. Now, that's not to say once you get in heart, all the fear is just going to vanish away and sunshine and lollipops and rainbows, will pop up for you. There can still be in the body and in the mind the presence of this fear, but you're not subject to it at all in the same way. And it's something then that you can observe and watch and learn from. Okay? Meanwhile, your presence in heart is training the body and the mind and setting the example that there is truly nothing to fear. You cannot be hurt. You've had lots and lots of bodies and they've all died and you're still kicking. All right? And when this body dies, I'll still be kicking. So you are not that. Now, what is subject to radiation? Hello, it's the body. Okay, so the body has a legitimate case here to be a bit nervous. Well, it is what it is. And anything is possible. So let there be no giving up and laying down in despair and desperation. Oh, it's over. We've all been radiated and we're going to die these horrible deaths. Don't go there. Don't go there. That's drama. That's the body and the mind. And let's center in higher self for this. What is the purpose of evil in the earth, in 3D? Perhaps it is to show us what we are not. Perhaps it is to be there to help us know thyself. Help us get to define the self a little better. It cannot triumph. Darkness never does. And just as you are in this embodiment now, where this is happening on the earth now, you're in all those other bodies, in all those other lifetimes as well. Time really is simultaneous. And the more we wake up, the more we become aware of this. Time and space, both, are not the limits we've been taught to believe that they are. And so, who knows but what the Fukushima but it's not just that. It's all the nuclear power plants. It's the nuclear subs. It's the nuclear radiation that's used in medicine. There's radiation everywhere. And you'll learn of this from Loren. And it's some worthy listening. But I wouldn't just in the middle of my day or before I go to bed or something, I wouldn't turn on this lecture. I would use it as a meditation. That's what I'm doing. And not necessarily even take it all at once. Take it until it just gets so uncomfortable, and then push pause and go sweep out the closet, do the laundry, go do something physical. And let your inner man, let yourself digest what has been presented thus far. There's no need to see the whole thing. Where am I going with this? Okay. Which isn't to say we want to be radiated and we want our world to be destroyed this way. This is heinous. It's terrible. It's the planned genocide. We've gotten so good at being alert to these things and doing what we could to avoid them, buying organic, purifying the water, watching out for the fluoride, being aware of the chemtrails, of the chipping and the vaccines and all of it. We've done a good job, folks. These things are helping us to wake up. And I guess I was feeling pretty good about how we were doing, how I was doing. But when you get told the whole truth about the radiation and the extent to which it has covered the earth, it's a body blow. It's tough to take it in. Everything in you wants to resist it. But you really can't. There it is. I'm not a Pollyanna anymore. I'm not worried about trying to be a goody two-shoes. I am very willing and able to take both sides of whatever coin is presented. And this may be the toughest news I've yet received in my almost 60 years. I'll be 59 in December. The body will be. I mean, who knows? Me? Besides, we don't count our real self based on revolutions of one planet around a star in this solar system. We're a lot more wide-ranging than that. But that's to get off the topic. Okay. What I wanted to present to you is my prayer. I got a little hot when I discovered the extent to which the powers that be have managed to radiate things, including us, at least the bodies that we wear. And as you look at the charts, that give you excellent evidence of the progression of various diseases and disorders in proximity to nuclear power plants or to anything nuclear, even absent an accident, a 3-mile island, Chernobyl, Fukushima. It doesn't take that. The various bomb testing that's gone on here in the States and around the world, above and below ground, so much that's happened that it's devastating. It really is. But here's what I have to say to that. Number one, we're not the body. Number two, anything's possible. So I'm sure not going to lay down and say, wah, 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 woe is me, and just roll over and die. Thanks, but no thanks. If I go down on my feet. So here we go. Anything is possible. And I want to share with you my attitude as much as anything else. But also my prayer. And if your heart feels moved to join me in it, there's a power in prayer that geometrizes. It's spoken of in the Christian Bible when it says, wherever two or more are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them, and whatever they shall ask, it shall be done by the Father in heaven. Now, these are words used to clothe a principle, a very real principle. This is a very real power that we can call upon. And whether you do it in those terms or some other, the underlying principle is very real. I can't tell you the amazing things that have happened for me when I would call upon the name of Jesus. It works. What can I say? Anyway, all right, so here's my prayer. See what you feel about it. I don't much care what you think about it. See how it feels. See how it fits for you. It's time for miracles. And so my prayer is clothed in the calling forth of the miracles. It's time. Let's step it up. We're in the 9th wave. Okay, let's make it happen. That's number one. And that's a part of anything is possible. The second thing is I am asking for the rolling back of all harm and damage of any kind whatsoever to innocent life on this planet. And that means not just the people, but the animals and the plants and the oceans and the sea life and all of it, every blade of grass. Let it be rolled back. And furthermore, I am asking that it be delivered to the door of those who sent it forth. So thus what I'm saying is, those who concocted these things and did it intentionally for genocidal purposes or those kind of things, those with evil intent, who are behind this, who profit from a sick populace and the big pharma and the whole medical system and all of that, those whose life is made easier by having less people so that people are easier to control. These people, these beings, who and whatever they are, I am making my requests before the Father. I call to the great karmic board and I ask them to consider my request, which is to lift the consequences of all of this from light beings and to shorten the time for the elect, as it were, to take us out of the equation, and instead of letting the karma come to them through the damage done to us, to just let what they have done be delivered unto them, period, without having to go through us. The shortening of the cycles, the bending and warping of time, if you will. I don't know if this is even a righteous prayer, my friends. I just know it's what came up very strongly from my heart. Now, in the midst, I've been calling for mercy and and other things as well. But I thought I would share that with you. Let us not play the victim to any of this. Okay? If the bodies have to go down, then they have to go down, and that's just how that is, and we will be fine. All right? So don't let it get to your spirit. As a matter of fact, you go get to your spirit now. Let's call it down. Maybe this is just the catalyst that so many need to wake up. Hey, now there's a thought. I think I'll tack that on there as well. To ask for the mass waking up that this has the potential to do. You know, this is a different journal again, and I think it's probably gone on long enough. I think my heart has been delivered of the message that I came here to share. So, God bless you, one and all.